Okay, so we are going to look at how to create a scatter plot from some data that we have. The data that we have here is the temperature and the number of visitors to the beach. So the first thing I need to do when I'm going to create a scatter plot here is I need to figure out what is going to go on the x-axis and what is going to go on the y-axis here. What can we label those as? So we need to figure out which one is the independent variable and which is dependent. Does the temperature, is that what we're going to change and measure how that affects the number of visitors to the beach? Are we going to look at the number of visitors to the beach and are we going to see how that affects temperature? Well, changing the number of visitors to the beach shouldn't really change the temperature, but we could look at changes in temperature and then measure how many people come to the beach. So temperature is the independent variable that's going to go on the x-axis, and numbers of visitors to the beach is going to go on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and label those. Temperature, and this is degrees Fahrenheit. And then on the y-axis we have our number of visitors to the beach. Okay. So let's go back then and let us take a look at what we should label the axis with, what our scale should be. So I've got my temperatures ranging all in the 80s. So if I go here, what I could do, if I want to zoom in on part of this graph and kind of, if I don't want to start at 0 here, I can put this little line in the graph that's telling me that we started from 0, we're kind of collapsing this and zooming in on part of this. So let's go ahead and start this first tick mark at 80. And then let's go ahead and call this 82. Make sure everything's evenly spaced. 84. 86. 88. And 90. Okay, so I've got my x-axis labeled there. Now for my y-axis, I have 75 as my lowest and 175 as my greatest value. So let's go ahead and make sure this goes up from at least 0 to 200. So we can label this 0 down here. Let's go ahead and call this 100, or actually, yeah, 100 there. And then let's go ahead and call this 200. Then we could even go up more to 300. Oops. Okay, now let's go back and look at our data and start plugging in our points. So my first point is a temperature of 80, and we have 75 visitors at 80 degrees. So the temperature is 80 down here, and 75 visitors would be right on this tick mark below 100, so that point goes right here. That's 80, 75. Next point is 83, 150. So if I go find 83 degrees right in the middle here, and then 150 would be directly in the middle of 100 and 200, so that point is 80, 150. Next point is 81, 100. So let's go take a look at that. 81 is right in the middle of 80 and 82, and 100 is right here. So that's 81, 100. Oops. Next point is going to be 86, 175. So temperature is 86 right here, and then 175 would be right in the tick mark below the 200. So that goes right there. And then finally we have 85, 150. So 85 is right in between 84 and 86. 150 is right between 100 and 200. So we have our point 85, 150 right there. Those are our 5 points for the scatter plot that represent the data in the table here. And that is how you can create a scatter plot. Let's make sure we also give this a nice title. We could call this temperature versus beachgoers or beach visitors. And there is my final scatter plot.